Hello, what's up going on? What's going on? Huh? Uh-oh, we playing quiet tonight. I guess y'all trying to get locked in for the main event, right? Because everybody has their main event. But the good thing about this type of setup is that everybody can have a different main event, because that is what poetry is, It's really about connecting and expressing, right? For me it is. I want to express, but sometimes it's not all about me, it's about connecting to other people, So I'm Beacon, and that's probably why, I'm still radiant. And I like to kind of shine light on some things, while we in the mix, because that's what lights do, Beacons, they just shine a little light on some things. So, I've been doing poetry for quite some time. I had my first book come out in 2017, but it was just like a collection of just all the stuff I wrote up until that time. It wasn't really like targeted specific. I just wanted to produce a book. So, went on the tour, did a couple of things, with that thing, and it was real nice, And then I come back home, and then I started finding some places where I can have an outlet and do some poetry. And down in Hickory, they got a little place called the Local Bean. And I was in there, and I was going quite a few times, and I wrote a poem called Poetry Is. And I'm what you call a little bit of an unorthodox type of poet, Like, I know some of the rhetoric, the different types and forms and things of that, nature, and how to use metaphors, and, I know all of that stuff, but I just don't think about that stuff when I'm writing. I'm not thinking about anything specific, trying to write a haiku or anything, I'm just expressing, So I wrote this poem called Poetry Is, or What is Poetry? And it goes, poetry is words that are alive, words that are free to be. Poetry is words on a journey. It's how we remember and remember to forget. The way we express things hidden, a way to express and conceal, hide and reveal, all at the same time. Sometimes written blatantly, sometimes bluntly. Sometimes it's in between the lines. It's the tools, the shovel by which we excavate, the soapbox, the gateway to express what will otherwise be able to communicate. It's love, it's passion, it's hate, it's a door, it's a bridge, it's a gate. Poetry is a portal or a portrait of a girl, a boy, a woman, a man, a landscape of forests, oceans, mountains, fields of grain, concrete jungles, and desert sands. Stories of survival, battles fought, lost, and won. Stories of struggles, pain, joy, defeat, and things overcome. It's our first kiss, our first love, our first date. It's philosophy, worldviews, spiritual and religious views, political views, and debates. The voice of our ancestry, the voice of those who can't advocate for themselves, the voice of poverty, the voice of both the slave and the free, the voice of causes, revolutions, movements, and change, the voice of the forgotten, the downtrodden, the outcast, the shamed, the blameless, and the blame, the voice of an object lost, found, and recover. Poetry is the voice of a single mother with 3 kids struggling to survive, the voice of a battered wife wearing dark glasses and mascara to hide, the voice of the molested child who cried unheard, whose voice was hushed by the ones that she trusted, the voice of a young mother who had to abort her first child because she was violated by those of her family's touches. Poetry is more than meter, rhythm, or verse. It's more than metaphor, similes, and rhythm. Poetry is more than allegory, alliterations, and wordplay. It's more than irony. personifications and symbolism. Poetry is alive, is life, is living. Now, it wasn't, a big thing for me at first. I just was like really just talking about what I thought poetry was, And here's the funny thing. I like to tell people this because, whenever I do a read, y'all have to understand that I am dyslexic. So I'm like a dyslexic poet, and that's why I put a lot of more effort into remembering some of them so that I can present them the way I feel them. So I hope I conveyed a little bit of that poem to y'all in a read, because I would really want to come back another time and memorize that and just give it to you the way I felt it when I wrote it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I just felt something about what poetry was. And to make a long story short, I wrote that poem, I did that there, and the guy who works there, his name is Owen, he's a professor at the college, and he said, can I use your poem in my class to talk about what poetry was? And I didn't hesitate. I'm like, what? Sure, I don't care. That was like an honor to me. You know what I'm saying? That was like, wow, really? You're a literary professor, and you said, I want to use this in my class. You thought that much of that poem. So that really blessed me, really, really. It kind of gave me the courage to just keep going, because sometimes I get those, them dead spots where I can't just get in my zone and write. But man, that really blessed me. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start with Ted Jackins. Y'all, come on, give him a hand.
Gosh, this feels more like a revival meeting. Okay, I'm gonna start things off and then finish them with two pieces that I had in, this is Poetry Volume 4, The Poets of the South. I was really pleased to end up in this, and I not only ended up in it, it's from Citizens for Decent Literature Press. It just came out this year. But I get the book, and I'm the first 2 pages in this, right after Carson McCullers quote. So I'm here to announce my retirement. This is called Things Witnessed Through Tiny Windows. These are the words of the sidewalks as they crumble into asphalt oceans, only to be swallowed up by the passing cars. And it is within this space where I can finally overthink every little thing. Self-conscious and still breathing, I am building bridges for the bonfire. Every time I read this title, it makes me laugh. This is called Put on Diamond Dogs and Dance Around the House Like David Bowie. Walking downtown in the rain is just like so many afternoons before, the pollen turning into a kind of thin green sludge underneath my heels, and I'm finally able to catch my breath after so many countless weeks spent holding it in. My future in front of me again means no more headaches from sleepless nights grinding my teeth, or else up for 2 days straight, manic and trembling or otherwise crying until my eyes are swollen. Now I will march down to that shop by the college, my brief alma mater, pick up some new wax, then head home for my last 3-day weekend for a little while, drink tea and spin some new sounds, write poems and fall asleep by 10 p.m. This sort of goes along with the poem that kicked us off, like poetry is. I called it mission statement because it's not just, I'm a musician as well as a poet, and I dabble in all sorts of art forms, and I was sort of trying to capture, like, why do I do it? for myself, and I've read it to a couple of people, and they're like, oh, that's why I do it too. And, I think the creative process is like a kind of therapy, for pretty much anybody who does it. Even if they don't share what they do with other people, it's just kind of purging. So I called this mission statement. I make music in order to fill up all those anxious silences. So I turn up my amp and let the notes hang in the thin, crisp autumn air, reverberating endlessly on sleepy sustain. And if you listen close, you can hear it even now, that universal drone, which slows my breath and lifts the veil from my heart and from my eyes. How much time have I got anyway? Okay. Let's see. I'll do this one and let the next person go up. This is called Suicide Summers, and it's going to be appearing on the Expat Press website in January. Thinking tonight of all those suicide summers, breathing smoke and tasting rain like tears from the very sky, as if Jesus truly wept and filled the land with all this beauty that I couldn't see then, and on nights like tonight still struggle to see, even now. All those suicide summers with proverbial knife to throat, begging for it all to just stop. As if I ever had that kind of power. I have an illness that finds ugliness around every corner, but now I'm learning to lean into the light, so the only shadow is my own, spent hanging in the broken halo of twilight. Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome, right? I love that last one. Goodness. Wow, that was powerful, man. I connected with that. I mean, some of that was just real. That's what it was. It sounded real, I mean, I know it's, it's the imagery and all that stuff in it, but it sounded real, Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, man, I loved it. How about y'all? Y'all love that? Yes. Well, go ahead and thank some of our sponsors. We have Walter and Ed Holland, Jim and Re Johnston, John, I'm going to mess up this name right here. Who's, I can't say that name. We go, John and, Koppelmeyer. It's y'all, right? Oh, my God. Sorry, that is a bad blooper. But anyway, gotta love the atmosphere. Bill and Cindy Pitts, all right? So without further ado, let me get out the way messing up people's name on tonight. Natalie Ramos, you ready? Come on, give her a hand as she comes.
I'm too tall for this mic. What do y'all think? That's good. A pleasant good evening to each and every one. My name is Natalie Ramos, a.k.a. Trinilicious. I'm from the island of Trinidad and Tobago, so I'll try and read slow so you guys can understand. So my first poem is called Stand, which means sophisticated, talented, amazing, noble divas. Women of queendom, stand strong, stand proud. Don't allow others to crumble your soul, break you down, or take over your world. Instead, walk with pride and hold your heads high. And most importantly, never allow them to see you cry. You are designers' originals whose goal is to rise. You were molded to become something great in God's eyes. So do not be scared to help your fellow sister up, to fix her crown so that it will not drop. You are beautiful, loyal, ambitious, creative, and kind human beings. And that is what the word black means to me. So women of queendom, keep up the fight. Believe in your dreams and do what is right. Shine bright like a diamond, and then you will see the empress and Nubian queens you were meant to be. Thank you. All right, this second poem, it's a little more deep. It's called Her Last Breath. The day I was born, flowers fell at my feet. A perfect angel, your lives were complete. Mom, Dad, your advice was so strong. You taught your princess to never do wrong. With open arms, you always showered me with love, even though growing up was sometimes tough. You both brought tears of joy and laughter too, but what happened that night, you didn't have a clue. As you left for dinner, everything seemed right, but I was awoken with a terrible fright. Knock, knock, someone is at my door. It was our neighbor Sam as he fell drunk on the floor. He looked like a pirate, tough as a pig. Odor was so gross it made my stomach ill. He covered my mouth. I was only 15. I tried to yell. I tried to scream. He threatened my life with every jerk. I felt pain inside places I didn't know work. As he crawled out the window, I lay motionless in bed, because in my heart I knew I was already dead. When you both came home into the room to kiss me goodnight, I breathed my last breath. I kept up the fight. As you wept bitterly with eyes looking up above, I still knew I was blessed and even more loved. Innocent loss, none of us was at fault. A drunk bastard tale caused a teenager assault. Thank you. On a more lighter note, okay, this I did for the Statesville Theater Cabaret last year for around Halloween time. So since we couldn't meet in person, we all had to submit a video on Zoom. So this is called Monsterland. And you guys can participate. It's a catchy song. So it's called A Pong, which is a poetry and a song mix. Vroom, vroom, chugga, chugga, click, clack. We're on our way to Munster's land. Choo, choo, chugga, chugga, click, clack. So grab your brooms, we're not coming back. Bright lights, camera, my life has just begun. Can't you hear the howling of the sun? Moonlight, raindrops, candles everywhere. Can you feel the goosebumps? Now Halloween is here. So vroom, vroom, chugga, chugga, click, clack. It's time to go to Munster's land. Choo, choo, chugga, chugga. We're going and we're not coming back. The nightmare, the horror, the children in the streets. Can't you feel their dancing feet? The music, the madness, someone's crawling on the floor. Don't look around, 'cause Freddy's at the door. So vroom, vroom, chugga, chugga. It's time to go to Munster's land. Choo, choo, chugga, chugga. Well, grab your brooms, we're not coming back. Witches brewing, can't you taste their bones? Cats, dogs chasing tails all around the world. Lovers fighting over custom they just bought. It's the only time of year when you show them your rod. So vroom, vroom, chugga, chugga. It's time to go to Munster's land. Choo, choo, chugga, chugga. We're going and we're not coming back. Mothers, fathers, they all getting dressed, 'cause Munsterland is their last stop. Spiders creeping, crawling everywhere. Bats in the attic, screeching with fear. So vroom, vroom, chugga, chugga. We're on our way to choo, choo, chugga, chugga. We're going and we're not coming back. I know that the thriller of the night has just begun, and the midnight madness, oh, it has sprung. So grab your torches, 'cause we're on our way, 'cause Ghostbusters here to save the day. So vroom, vroom, chugga, chugga. We're on our way to Munster's land. Choo, choo, chugga, chugga. We're going and we're not coming back. Thank you. All right. All right. My next poem is called, this is a recent one I just wrote. It's called The End is Near. The end is near, so take heed. Stop. Don't move. Hands above your head. If you reach for your wallet, your ass might be dead. It's black, it's white, it's Asians and more. When you hear that siren, we all hit the floor. What does our world turn to? Like monkeys were climbing walls, all just looking for justice from a system that is flawed. I remember a time when America was great. We all shopped at Walmart and ate from the same plate. But now we're turning guns and vandalizing the world, all for a taste of blood that's already gone cold. Tell me, is it really worth selling out your soul? The COVID pandemic sneaked in like a thief. While our backs were turned, it left us to grief. From vaccines to masks, did we really have a chance? While our ancestors lay dead, still roaming the lands, testing our luck with the almighty great plans. Together as a nation, we all can bounce back, but first we must start facing the facts. We're living in the last days, and things will get worse. People are even starting to steal from the church. Suicides are rising, young ones are losing hope. Parents are stressing because even with the stimulus, they still can't cope. So just like nuts, let's tighten our ropes, because there is still God. He's still a God who leaves us with hope. Thank you. And my last poem for the night is called Twisted. Never had a man that made me feel so dizzy, tripping over myself like if I was his lady. Arms wrapped around me like if I was the only one. Eyes staring right at me, telling me to be strong. Boy, you got me twisted like a teenage little girl, trying in every way somehow to rock my world. Whispering sweet nothings softly in my ear, sending love songs and showing me that you care. Where are we going, knowing our love affair can be real? Will my heart be broken, or can I hide the way I feel? Man, you got me twisted like a pretzel on a stick. Shoot, forget Santa Claus. I think I found my Saint Nick. Thank you.
Wow, she did awesome, didn't she? I love those. I think she woke us up a little bit in here. All right, well, let's see who we got coming up next. Are y'all ready for Joyce Brown? Oh, she's not here tonight? Oh, wait a minute. Sam, you're next. Sam Fox, come on, give him a hand.
Oh, I'm glad this is at my height. Hey, everyone. So I'm not going to read from any of the books or any of the journal poems that I've done. I'm actually going to do some spoken word tonight with ambiance. Ambiance. This is Corey. Everyone say hi to Corey. Corey's going to be providing the ambiance. A little bit of click-clack, yeah. Boom, chicka, chicka, click-clack. That was fun. So this first poem that I'm going to do, we kind of cheated a little bit, and we have a little loop going in this. But this is a poem I wrote a while back as part of a mixtape or an EP for spoken word. So we're going to try this out. It's not the exact same thing, but this is a poem about Billy the Kid, and it's in his voice. So it's kind of eerie, kind of like spooky enough for Halloween, I think. I was born made of gunpowder and exit wounds. Didn't know my daddy much, save what he left behind. Knuckle marks stained on walls, day-old cologne still stuck in halls, beard trimmings clogged in his sink, footprints fading down a sidewalk in the snow, and an old shirt I swore I'd never grow into. Doctor said mama drowned in her sleep, called it tuberculosis. I left the next day, stumbled away from that rotten apple that was only good for holding worms anymore. So I headed west, past the frontier country, into my own manifest destiny, seeking God. But God don't say much these days, at least not to boys like me. The devil's greatest stunt isn't that he tricks you into thinking he don't exist. It's that he does. And he'll shake your hand firm like a friend. I learned that your enemies stab you in the back like cowards, but that your friends look you in the eye as they stab you in the heart. I still got a pitchfork in my spine, where I should have grown a living from. But I started thieving, robbing, laid down with women not old enough to know weddings, but not young enough to be stupid. I joined a militia. I learned to shoot a pistol in the dark and hit the cherry of a cigarette from 30 yards. My finger was brave, but I don't ever think I learned what a man is. And the soldiers, they called me a kid. Still 18, they didn't know I'd be a legend at 21. I showed them. Sometimes you gotta switch opinions, even if that means you betray a man. At least I had the decency to look him in the eyes when I'd done it. And I became the youngest outlaw there ever was. People chased me down, but I left them laying in red dust. That is, until Sheriff Garrett tracked me down, snuck around the back of my hideout. I asked my buddy, "Who is it?" Turns out God had been looking for me since my mother died. He filled me with lead. The hell was too full inside me, like a saguaro that don't know how to keep in its water. There was this one time I stood before the prison guard who begged for life as I pressed my barrel to his nose. He asked me my name, said he would hold me accountable for my actions before God. He asked me what my father done named me. I said that my name was William. That means desire or conquer, but that I didn't have a father and I didn't want one either. How can a boy know how to be a man if a man never teaches him how to shed the rattlesnake skin of his youth? Damnation, that's the easy part. It happens before you die. So when that sheriff stood over me to watch me let all the fire out to burn the wretched earth, I wanted to thank him. Hell is all I ever known, and I assure you, it's much cooler under the ground. I never did wear that shirt, not at least to my funeral. where I was buried, covered with gunpowder and exit wounds. That was fun, yeah. All right, so we're going to do a little more freestyle-y stuff now. This is going to be one I've memorized. I used to know that one, but I was too timid to memorize it in a day. So, because procrastination station right here. So this next poem is kind of a sonnet. This next poem's kind of a sonnet. And on the EP, it's called Cardiomegaly. But it's originally titled The Broken Sonnet. So I'm going to let him lead in, and then I'm going to come in. One, I could write a novel out of the words I failed to say to you. My words are crippled houses, words that look and feel like home but are really haunted by vowels and four-letter words that sound like the wind. Two, my first and only mistake was believing that your arms were holy shrines built for me to worship love in. But you see, love to me, simply making you into a god who had skin on her. Three, I've ruined these hands for you. They are temples, mossy and eroding in the rain. The day we parted, I started smoking. I replaced you with ashtrays, as if exhaling smoke was a cremation of your memory. There are stains in my fingers that don't come out. There's still words tarring my throat. 4, I leave the door open for you most nights. The light from the moon's the only reminder my body's still glued to this bed by gravity. 5, most days, I forget your name on purpose. Most days, I walk past you as if you were a foreign war. Most days, I forget what you tasted like, what you looked like, what you sounded like. 6, I still have your scent on that sweater. You know, the one you unstitched from my spine. But most days, darling, I still love you. 7, if I end up in heaven, there'll be no end to the apologies of me living on earth as if it were hell. 8, I have 3-word phrases tattooed underneath the skin on the bones of my knuckles. My thumb reads, good luck, Sam. My pointer reads, I want you, but my middle, it rings, I hate you, but my ring finger. It reads, I would have. 9, my pinky is much too small to have made the promises that I did. It simply reads, keep on going. 10, my heart is a red light district now. It sprung up like reeds off of a roadside, with me going between the thighs of girls to find something that simply was not there. My heart knows all too well what it's done. 11, if I end up in heaven and you aren't there, I would rather be a hive of bees in hibernation than ever taste the honey of God's gates. 12, I'm still learning what it takes to be a man. Unfortunately, I'm still saying I'm sorry for it. 13, being a poet, I take these words that you stuck in my back like knives and lay them delicately into these poems. Words like hypocrite, words like multitudes, words like beautiful. And 14, I saw something of God in your eyes. I saw something of God in your smile and heard something of God in the words that you gave me. Like that strange little word, beautiful, I hardly ever use. But you and me, we were that. Individually, we still are that. But please, darling, whatever you do, don't ever forget that you will always be beautiful too. Deep shit. Deep. I could be my own hype man, I swear. Bro, I mean, someone's gotta be. Okay, and I got one more for y'all. This is a poem for next year since we're not doing another reading until January, I believe. So I didn't have time to print it out or anything. I'm just gonna read it off the phone, which is kind of blasé, but like I'm gonna do it anyway. This poem is just titled 2022. A tune.
Super fast, don't worry.
Super fast. Woo. Flat. Flat.
And that's why you check.
That's why you check. Yay. Okay, you ready? I'll leave you with this. This year, I will fall, burning with love, into a multitude of things. This year, I will refuse to attend any funerals or wear my black suit. This year, they might name a hurricane after me. And I will travel to whatever state it collides against to get drunk on whiskey and let the wind wing me like a road sign through the darkened street. I will pretend to be good at dancing like Jesus in ankle-high water as it creeps through toward the spitting image of that chapter about the flood this year. Like many of them, I have only one mouth to use for prayer, and it will be silent. This year, despite the difficulty in doing so, I will breathe clean air with lungs not yet sullied by viruses new or old. This year I will learn that the fist is both good for destruction and mercy. This year I will run naked through a cloud of moths at sunset. They will clothe me splendorous in off-white gowns of fluttering. This year I will promise nothing that I cannot make of myself. This year, I will stop biting my nails as though they were made of sugar, and I will let them grow, so I can scratch through the mystery of the gilded lottery tickets heaven has promised but has not yet delivered. This year, I will lean into the gossip of the trees in July as they plot toward October without argument, the best month among all months, and try my best to summon the devil with nothing but a love poem. This year I will forgive the devil. I might forgive God. More importantly, I will exonerate myself from my own jagged-lipped guilt. This year, I will not remember my ex-lovers' names. In fact, I will unclutter them from my throat one last time, for they gather like an army made of roped dust on my bedroom floor. This year I will not tell a lie, but stretch the truth into a garment to wear like an alkalite's robes, for no reason other than beauty. This year I will not care about disaster, and will assure myself that they will return to their proper poses, the flowers. This year I will not make ghosts out of people who hated me. This year I will not make rubble out of the town that nearly murdered me. This year I will unsovereign myself as an expert in tragedy. This year I will lie down in the snow also naked, for an entire 10 seconds to feel what it feels like to face a firing squad and survive. This year, the stars will whisper to me their constantly changing names. This year, I will not let sadness hover over me like a glassy-eyed angel with its terribly tilted halo and fish-gripped handshake. This year, I will be unashamed of the soul within this body, though this body could, in fact, lose at least 20-some pounds. This year, I will try to lose at least 20-some pounds. This year, I will fail numerous times, each time a lesson. This year, I will dismantle my grief so it does not implode to become the singularity into which all my hope disappears. This year, I dare. There is no question of do or do not. This year is the lens in which I look myself straight in the eye and feel the cornered animal in me soften into thanksgiving. This year, I will try to paint the sky like all the masters did, just so I can feel what it's like to see the sun rise again for the very first time. Give it up one more time for Corey Struther. And that's my time, guys. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Give him another hand. I was feeling that whole vibe, man. Sam, that was amazing. Good job, man. You know what? I was sitting down next to my fiance, and she told me the baby was just like all over the place. He is really enjoying the vibe. I hope he ain't having better of a time than y'all are. I'm just saying. He's still in there. He's like, Antonio's like, it's an Antonio type of party, you know? So he's enjoying the vibe. So I hope y'all enjoying the vibe as much as he is. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, y'all. I wanted to just share this one here with you guys. This one is called the Keep Hope Alive Rebuttal. All right, let me prep this a little bit because I don't want nobody to get what I'm saying mixed up. You know, a lot of times people use like keep hope alive as like a cliche, you know, and you know, sometimes I'm a little bit of an overthinker. I examine stuff, you know, really deep for some reason. I don't know. Keep hope alive, you know. And I just thought about this concept one day. Keep hope alive. You know, I must have been in a little bit of a weird place because then it became a little bit of a poem, you know, like keep hope alive. And I was kind of arguing the fact that, well, isn't hope supposed to keep me alive? You know, like why am I trying to keep hope alive? You know, so the cliche is kind of more like of a wishful thinking type of thing, you know, like, you know, faith without works. I mean, like, you mean, like, so we like to say stuff like keep hope alive, but then, you know, am I supposed to keep hope alive, or is hope supposed to keep me alive? So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and share this with you. It says, keep hope alive. Keep hope alive? The hell with that. It's hope. Isn't hope supposed to keep me alive? Keep me expecting greater, better, in anticipation? Driving me like a Tesla to my destination? So why? Tell me, why is it my job to keep hope alive when I'm hopeless and doing my best to survive and stay alive? Hope has fed me piles of empty promises, full of versions of brighter days, that is eclipsed by the reality of my current situation that begs for hope to keep me alive. To keep me alive. But as the new day dawns and time waits for no one, and it just keeps trudging forward, hope is completely silent with no reply. It's as if my troubles are a bedtime story, some sick, twisted lullaby. Hope is more like a wish, like wishing on the stars, betting on chance, but I refuse. I refuse to dance with chance under the limited hue of the moonlight that impairs my sight. I refuse to go on wishing, holding my breath while I suffocate to death, sentencing my vision, dreams, and purpose to a certain death as it takes its last breath. I will bet on me and the greatness, the treasure buried deep beneath the depths of my consciousness, my weakness, my mess, my failures and inadequacies. I refuse to perform CPR, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and jumpstart hope with the pads like clear. I refuse to sit idly by the bedside of hope as it fights for its life on life support. I refuse. It's not hope's job, but mine to survive and to thrive and to materialize my vision, goals, and purpose. So I will pull the plug on hope and let it flatline as I jump into the driver's seat and take control on this rocky road, steering clear of defeat, driving unapologetically into my destiny. So that's just a little rebuttal. It's just the way I felt at that time, you know, my back was kind of up against the wall, and I don't know if y'all know this, I still kind of feel that way a little bit. Didn't it sound like it a little bit? Because I refuse to surrender to a wish, you know. See, I'm a life coach too, so, you know, I like to tell people that you're in control, you know. Sometimes you dealt a bad hand, you know. But there's somebody on the other side, you know, if you're playing spades, you can have a bad hand and still win the game, you know what I'm saying? So whatever your higher power is, your energy, whatever you know, you're lending yourself to, you know, that's the thing on the other side that's playing for you to win. Man, it can't get no better than that, no matter how bad your hand is. All right, I'm going to stop coaching. Yes, I love it. Yes. So let's go ahead and thank some more of our sponsors, law offices of Dustin McCrary, L. Gordon Iron and Metal, S&J Carolina Scales, Statesville Jewelry and Loan, MyNet Cloud Services. Wow, man, that's a wonderful list right there. Julia Willis and Rob Coiler, and we're going to do one more. Jane Gitstein and Abigail Jennings. All right. So without further ado, we're going to bring D-Robb up. Come on, man. Come on. Give him a hand as he come up.
Yeah, you got from kids. Yeah. Need just a little bit higher. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Shoot, man, it's good to see y'all. You know what I'm talking about? Like I say, it's better to be seen and not viewed. Am I right? All right, then. So, you know what I'm saying? Little intro, I guess. You know, I came here a couple of times. You know, I done played drums over here. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing, obviously. I got the little bongos. But, Shoot, I'm about to go ahead and start trying to, do my little thing with the freestyles, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I be on the beat, sometimes I don't be on the beat. But I feel like when it comes to poetry, it's not necessarily just writing, it's also speaking, because it's a language. It's a part of hip hop at that point, you know what I'm saying? And hip hop by itself is a culture. You just expressing yourself, taking your time, using your vocabulary, which is really all it is. So I don't know what I'm gonna call this. I might just call it Drummer Boy Part 2, because I did one over there at the record shop, for practice, but we'll see where this goes. So I'm gonna start a beat. I'm gonna start a beat.
Oh, you want me to follow you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then I'm gonna stop playing at some point. I need you to keep going. All right. Say that little drummer boy. Say, you back at it again. Well, that little drummer boy, he gonna get tatted again. If he don't learn to mind his business, he been done mess around and got something he don't need to be in. That little drummer boy is a good soul, but a messy human being. At times, when he feel like it, swiping or swiping, but I ain't go by it. If I had my own set of rules, I might have did better in school, but I was trying to play it cool, but I was outside shooting pool in a different way. It was cold. It wasn't nice. Had a couple of dots on it, not dominoes, but dice. They was making hustles way before I knew about it. Yeah, elementary school, and then middle school, well, how about it? High school, and literally everybody's stoned. Wow, this is crazy. I done picked a whole new bone. Like, I used to do a little rapping and realized what trapping was, so I was like, I might go back to just dapping and tapping on the little drum, but then the birds outside went from chirping to a very melodic hum, so coming back to it, it was like, yo, I got the strings to pull a ball back, that's yo-yo. But even still, yahoo, not just the milk, but that flavor type of song more like silk. If there's a meeting, I don't want one in the bedroom. We took it to the office. That's how we keep it professional. But profession was never a confession till they asked the question, but didn't want the answer. Rudolph was leading, but can't forget about Prince, so he was an original definition of an OG. But in the streets, I think they talking about bags. Well, in my definition, off the top, this from the bag, that's like, and it feels in a similar kind of way. But if it was just meant to be a different way paved, then I would take that bath and say that I done bathed. But if I don't come out the water, then who's to blame? If I was down there, I couldn't get nobody to save me unless I reached out for a floaty, even still not floating. But that little drummer boy came back to reality, dazed off, still amazed now. But it was like, it was only a little grace how you got by. That little drummer boy started off. That little drummer boy came back and was like, that little drummer boy said, I think that's nice. I think I like. Now he on the mic. Nah. Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and get to another one. Shoot. don't know what this is gonna be called. Nah, I mean. What up, depression? Been a long time. But since the last time, I've been waiting to tell you, right now it's kind of a bad time. Cause every time you come around, something goes wrong. It's like, well, shoot, let me pick a new song. But stick to writing, I was like, I'm just now thinking outside the box. So I guess it's time to start fighting, but I was more like Tyson, no longer biting, but taking my own chunks. If I was that type of guy, I'd have my own nugs, but in a different way, not the ones that's coming from the ear, still hoping that they hear. And even if they didn't, they was still near, but to shoot a type of spear like that, they would have to be Roman Reigns, but do you really win? That belt don't even mean that it's a title unless you gotta read what's on it. Ain't that more of a subtitle? Explanations is what the world ain't giving out. That's why we doing our own research. Well, if they really wanna know. Notice if you look at your phone and you speak about something, by the time you get ready to type it in, it's already done come up on your phone, so it's already on it. I click the images just to see if I can get an own mental understanding. I'm in a band, sometimes I got a new material, but then I don't got the kit, I do some mental practice. Getting back to it, it was a different grind. Hello, depression, you tried to steal that shine. You made a dark tunnel, but shoot, I had tunnel vision, but still great television. Without the signal, antennas, I was going for bandanas just to wrap my head around the situation. But it still was going like, I ain't got enough patience. Then it started to get hotter. And once it got harder, I was like, is this something I can do? Or is this something that's gonna take me under? If I was Roman Reigns, would I be somebody that tried to pretend that I couldn't see? Or would I go against the Undertaker? Face fear, or let fear take me back to the corner? Well, if I go back to the corner, I ain't got nowhere else to go. Might lose my oxygen, but still, going underwater, I keep my head above it, just to make sure that I could always say, I was a hairless animal until I grew it out. But now it's like, what you gonna do with these branches? Are you gonna hand down your seeds, or are you gonna let the apples fall? It could be a different fruit, but are you gonna take autumn or fall? It could be two different kind of scenarios. Don't think it's one season, because it's still four. If you look for three, then you gonna only fall for two, but even summer makes spring fall, or walk across the sprinter. Like, if you looking for a soldier, well, you got one with a star tatters on the arm. What happened to the one with the shield? If I was an agent, guess I'd be the one that worked for SHIELD. But McCrary was getting furious with different people because they was curious, like asking questions. Don't do that. Stay in your place, soldier, but don't do that. I'm not on commando. If I decided to, I guess that meant I took the badge off. But if I didn't want the hands, then I would still keep the gloves, because Danny was under detective. Shooty was a phantom. Can't find nobody off the map. That's ghost mode. Either way, that lethal weapon will come back. That tongue will kill you for a trigger ever will. That's crazy. They looking for Smith, but still forgot about Will. And if they didn't know, he learned to keep his will from Uncle Phil. That was only advice, like taking down from Dr. Phil. How could that ever be? Oh my gosh, this was crazy. But looking at depression, like, you still try to get me again, you slick little bastard. But I done hit back below the chin. Like, if I was going to be a rush hour, I had to take a second just to get my breath back. But then a minute, that's how juice is made, just that simple. It only take one time if you got all the right ingredients. Like, ingredients? What you mean by that? Ingredients for a degree. Not talking deodorant, but still, hygiene is important. But I'm talking about the ones without the low cuts and the holes in them. They expect you to have khakis, and if you don't have them, they swear you a slacky. But do they ask you that drug test? It don't even mean if he was off the yaki. They looking for the ganja, but don't that give them a little more knowledge? But they still going off it like it's a different type of carnage. Well, the arsenal on his back full of weapons, that's more like Rambo. But they looking for that hero, but they'll never accept a shero. Well, why they gotta go trans just for everybody to see, though? But that's a different situation that we can't even speak on, because whenever the cold turns on, the heat get turned on, and they don't like it, so they turn it off. But still, the furnace is still around. But like, why? And I'll never understand that. Thank you. I do not know what that was called at all. I guess. One more? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we like the strings. Yes, sir.
What you want? You want something mine? I got you. I'm gonna start something. I got you. Here we go.
All
Ready?
right, yeah. Okay, yeah. Hey, I feel like I got a personal DJ, you feel me? Oh my God. Goodness gracious, this feels professional. Oh my God. Alright. I don't know what I'm gonna call this one either, but we gonna make it do what it do, baby. You know what I'm talking about? I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Ha! Oh yeah. I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh yeah. She give me money when I'm in need. Yeah, she's a kind of friend indeed. I got a woman way over town that's good to me, but she'll never be my mama. If I needed somebody to take care of me, I'd have called Obama, but I still got somebody at home waiting on me. Yeah, I already ate. Well, if you didn't, there's something on the stove. Okay, I'm ready to get down. As soon as I come in the kitchen, I'm like, shoot, let me get a plate now. If she got some chicken left, well, shoot, it's in the air fryer. Yeah, that's not bougie. Everybody got one. On the hood, it's still the south side, but if they want a brighty side, you get your egg sunny side up, but still we scramble. Everybody out here in life, they didn't know it was a 50-50. Either way, a give or take, life's a gamble. They looking for somebody to come back like, well, if I was gambling, guess my hand was just like an omelet, but if I could snap one time and reverse time, would I still do it? No, only just to bring back my uncle one time. I might just to say, hey, Papa, how you doing? But shoot, anything that happened was meant to happen. Shoot, if I took a L, I learned from it. Say that I lost, that's never what it was. The cost was different just to be a boss. Had to take some bang, because if I didn't, I would never gain the different type of wisdom that I needed. Pull it like a tooth. I guess I could connect this Bluetooth. That's different if they wanted theatrics. I did that. I took that class, first period. Man, I love theater, but shoot, I came back because Miss Dill had a different situation. Like I came in class one day, she on some other stuff like, yo, Miss Dill, what's the deal? What you got going on? I'm fitting to squeal. If you keep playing with me, I might just swing like I'm Will for real. Might go Tyson. I don't do that. But like I said, please just cool back. Feeling like he would take you on a field trip. You ain't never did that before. We ain't got the funds for it. Guess we gotta call Miss Frizzle to take us on the magic school bus. We going underground. That's where I came from. I'm tucking. I come back up like my head is still in surround. I come up from the mud like, oh my God, a beetle just drowned right beside me. What's going on? This is his habitat. Man, I got a bad habit with that. If they coming out, I'm getting missing like a rabbit yet. Gotta get missing. They called me a jackrabbit till I came back like Frost. What you mean by that? I reverse the seasons. If you really want a type of spring, I'ma bring fall. I don't really care. If you stumble, I might fall, but if I get back up, I guess that's where you pick it up. But if you on a cliff, I ain't gonna leave you hanging. I got a whole bunch in the closet. I don't need no more hangers. But if you really want to chill, then we can make a couple of bangers. I don't never ever need a gang. Shoot, the only set I read was ever a drum. Like I said before, I'm coming back. I'm intelligent, never been dumb. So why you trying to play like that? You know I'm not a scum. I only clean that off the bottom of my shoe before I go back in the house. I can't be tracking on dirty stuff in. My mama might get me in trouble, and that's how I get a whooping again. I ain't had one of them since I was 7, but if you get me one at 19, you gonna be the one to go to heaven. Kinda early, need an angel. If I was on WWE, I might just be Kurt Angle. Take it to the gospel, I just might go Kurt Franklin. But if I need a Benjamin, you're either really Franklin. Like if I was a turtle, not a ninja though. I think my name would be Little Franklin. Why? Cause Little Bill, that's different. Everybody done seen that one, but did you ever see the one that chose to be different in the world where he don't fit in cause he different, but everybody know he with it, so they still with it. And if they wanted to join in, they know that he tell them get it, but still they didn't want that type of party till he saw the action. Like then we take it mathematics, we starting to break the fraction. Michael Jackson, nah, I had to go to Jefferson, but more than a street, it's just an apartment building taking a piece of the pie. But if it was cherry, I might stay back. Like I don't want that one to pop and say I was to blame. Like if I see Pops, I gotta be like, change my name, identified, no identity, just this, a different type of destiny. For me, I chose to be my own guy, a leader, not a follower. I got a lot of homies that was with me, but now they not, and that's their own fault. Do I miss them? Can't say that, because I ain't chill with them in school. I knew what they was about. I had enough on my plate. I had enough food. Still trying to eat it if I didn't want to repeat it. And I had to go microwave on the niggas that was still reheating. Like, why is you trying to do that? Sorry for my language, but that's my culture, so you gotta understand my pain. If I'm trying to tell you what's going on, I'm standing in a storm and I can't hear it, but I can still feel the rain. The color might be purple, but that's a different type of strain. They pull them like a puppet, but they'll never see the string, so it was different. When I got the locks, told them never been golden, but still with the locks. Like, if I learn to pick them, I guess the bears might come around with the berries if I just chill with locks. Like, nah, very clever fox. The cleverest one that I saw was Swiper. He had a bandana on his eyes too. It was blue. I thought he was Raphael or Leonardo reincarnated. Like, you went from turtle to a fox, what you got going on, man? Like, still, I ain't playing though, but dude, I come back like I'm slaying those Santa Claus, bringing a whole lot of different gifts. That's just meaning that I got a lot of different talents. This is just now a snip of part 2. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. Oh, D-Robb. Yeah, that's me.
Good stuff, right? Come on now, give me one more hand, one more hand. This guy too. Man, beautiful atmosphere, right? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, no, I'm gonna go last. Yeah, we got one more. I said I'm gonna go last. I'm not gonna do anything else. Or do you want to be last? Okay, you can be last. That means I just won't do another one. What's up? Are we making good time? We good? Okay, all right, good, good, good. I just don't want us to overrun anybody, you know what I'm saying? All right, so go ahead and call some more of our sponsors on tonight. Did I say Brian and Amy Howard, Casey Vanhoy, Wendy and Tommy Allison, Michelle Hopper and Dave Lingle, Jim and Lynn Lawton. Don't forget Sir Speedy and Owen Owen Graffs. Kind of got me tongue twisted. Owen Graffs. Sorry. So, without further ado, we're going to have our. I remember her. You know, she was so good the last time she was here. You know that? Elena Hill. Yeah, I got a book and everything. Come on up, Elena.
Listen, tonight has been so amazing already. I'm like, wow. I am Elaine. Yes, Elena's works. There was an Elena in my elementary school, and I was always like, my name is better than yours. I don't need an A. Anyway, identity. It's a funny thing. So in some circles sometimes, because tonight's kind of been a flowy night, I'm going to kind of flow with it, and we'll see what happens. I have a poet name. And because we've been talking so much about poetry and what it is, I think that I'm going to step into this space and we're going to kind of create together in this. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Just kind of flow with it. I am Elaine. She, her, hers. I am Nightingale. Poetry is a song. So the myth goes. A nightingale sings her song in the woods, painting faces in trees, in the sounds of the breeze. The king hears sweet songs and pulls her to the lush of the palace. The walls suffocate. People hear her, think she can be replaced by gears. Poetry cannot be replaced, so I take my leave. The warble of the sun rays envelop me. I sing my song to the shaking leaves. But when the king is dying, the curated song is one he needs, so poetry comes and holds the king within his grief. The power is within me, within us, to hold space for healing the powers that be. See, I've been taking my healing at night. By morning light, my eyes are glistening with the sun's rays strike, and no one can stop the light in my song power. It's demolition at my fingertips, the slip of a song out my lips. I am strong and united within my heart, allowed to have grace and 100,000 new starts. I invite people in when I can just swim under the stars of my own joy and grief and see the glimmer of a song undulate in the glow of the relief I find in the simplest of things. Listen. Listen. Let me take you outside under the stars. A bird on silver wings finds its rest for the night. Do you hear her song? It sounds like the world is a portrait of my own life. Tupac was taken out for the hate you give, and isn't that just what abuse is? Power slipping us microaggressions. We lose our names to ensure no one feels safe in our skin. I am a woman coming out of an emotionally abusive situation. The choke of chains have left me gasping for oxygen. Even the children left alone at the border are my lost souls, orphans drowning in the trauma that keeps me from speaking, showing me bars of silence when I offer up bars for consuming. I'm going to teach you something if you can listen. The wind blows steady into a stream. A river runs silently under the leaves. The birds whisper calls that only you can hear, but you've got to listen. Listen. It's just me and you now, with nothing tying us but this song and the love breeze that whispers from heart branch to tree. We are all connected in this. We are all made from earth and breath and breeze and music. And all along we've been singing without knowing the words. Come on. Come on. If I can sing, you can feel the warble within your own heartstrings. Let it release. Step into this new breeze. Breathe. I'm going to just read a few things tonight and finish with one that I have in the brain. Halloween has been an interesting time in the past little while. I grew up not celebrating it because, it was evil. I generate my beliefs based on the things that I experience in life these days, or all days, but I'm starting to claim that now and actually state what I actually hold as true, novel concept. And I've noticed a pattern that I'm not going to teach too much tonight, but I've noticed a pattern that the fall brings. I love the fall. I've noticed this pattern that kind of around this time of year, there is I know many Latinx cultures celebrate like Dia de los Muertos, like the Day of the Dead. And I've noticed this trend that there's so much necessity in connecting to ancestry, connecting to ancestors, and connecting to those things that we see as dead, allowing things to die that need to die, so that throughout the course of fall, winter, into spring, you see that cycle of death that allows that rebirth to happen. And if we do not face and allow the dead things to speak and release, we do not give room for the rebirth that is to come. So all of that saying, that's where this poem comes from. It is in honor of a boy named Aaron. It's called Sunlight Glints. I remember his eyes and the fear he carried in his mouth when he talked for hours about the strings of his guitar, so fresh-faced and innocent. I held my lips when I heard How many people have to die trying to live? How many warriors will we lose in this fight? He had a kid and a song at the back of his throat, yet we won't talk about depression. Keep it sanctioned as someone else's problem. People don't want to die when they take their life or let substances do it for them. They just want the pain to subside, the tide of overwhelm to roll out and stay away a while. Suicide is more of a Hail Mary than prayer can ever be. I've been in debates about where suicide victims go for eternity, like running for the gates that promise no crying is some sort of insult to the curator. Listen, maybe the afterlife is some sort of haven from pain, but I have held my grandmother's hand when I have been hurting. She has been gone for 13 years. I actually think the dead are out there listening, leaving footprints on the path they had to leave for us to take, holding spaces we don't know we are missing until the wind blows and brings the scent back to us. A great cloud of witnesses hold light for the walking, so many of them having dredged the underside of this life so we don't have to be alone when we are feeling the weight, an anvil with a sledge holding up the heavens with our shoulders when it is not ours to carry. We have those who've come before us. If you look closely, you can see them in the way the sunlight glints off the back of the car. It's a cowboy with a guitar, kneeling. I know he's praying for our souls, singing the song he can see written on these roads we travel, because this path snakes severe through beauty and pain. The trick to living well is in getting up again and again and again. There's no alone on this path, just thousands of lights shining to guide us towards home. Nobody's certain about eternity, but today is an eternity of possibility if we can keep our eyes open long enough to see. So in sharing a new poem, I feel like it gives you too much of a window into where I am right now. And it's been fascinating. I'm reading through all of my new stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's an angry poem. Oh, that's an angry poem, too. Oh, that's angry. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm angry. So we're just going to jump into this, share a little bit about anger, apparently. This one, right now, I'm not going to tell you what it's called until afterwards, because then I would give it away. People ask if I ever write nature poems, because poetry. You know, like two roads diverging, yellow wood, red wheelbarrows and chickens, sunrises golding over seaside escapes, natural things. Yet, I see a picture of a butterfly perched on a red zinnia. And I think, do butterflies ever feel rage? If somewhere beyond their hungry proboscis, their entire chest swells with the tide of a feeling that cannot be contained in their pupa of a body, the exploding of each tiny cell into the belief that it's got to be different somewhere, somehow, do they ever get tired? Am I allowed to cuss? Do they ever get tired of being so fucking fragile? The dance on the wind, sometimes feeling like only 2 wing beats away from concussion, a fight to stay off windshields and out of bird beaks. Maybe I'm a poet because I like metaphors, and haven't they had enough fighting already? Remember how this insect got its regal flight. It did not happen overnight, oh no. You know, chronic illness, divorce with kids, chrysalis, that butterfly, spends 8 to 12 days inside a shell that used to be its skin as it completely metamorphosizes and becomes mush, primordial goo, and broken hopes inside. I just like metaphors. You think the butterfly is happy in there? If it had a mouth, it would be screaming. If it had legs, it would be running the other way. Isn't it convenient that the shell of the old held it in place until the entirety of the process unfolded? What does a butterfly's scream sound like? Is it the purple, bloomed along the road to make way for the power of change to drip through the visceral layers, untape the mask off the butterfly's eyes to see which way the butterfly will soar when it is older and wiser? Is it okay for a butterfly to be angry about this process? Is it okay for the rage to unchain the skin into wings? And what's the justice of the fight for flight once it has it? I have kids. I've seen when a child grabs the butterfly by the wing and we watch its scrambled offerings of limbs to release into flight. Is that its way of cussing? Or because it is beautiful, it's just supposed to lie down and take it? Do you think rage sparks into red on the wing, bristles into hair along the abdomen? Does the butterfly ever get tired of beating its wings so hard it creates a hurricane on the other side of the world? Feel the power in the wing beat leave and turn to ask who touched to drain its cloaked beauty. This is the power, the beauty, the rage, the fight. Think this too might just be a metaphor. So when you see a butterfly, think of the unending days and painful fight against its own skin it had been through to get to this place, fluttering like hell to reach the next flower. That our life, too, from the outside may just look this, too, utterly beautiful. Thanks for listening. This one also is from the book. It's called Bouquet. And this will wrap it up. Thanks for listening. The trick to healing is allowing myself to be saved by the feet under my own body. Listening means shutting up the drown of city lights and country days to hear the blood glistening in my own veins, trust the pulse of my own wrists over the machine that tells me it is faltering. I allow my story to blister into roses, dahlias, and daisies. I can handle anything. This war I've been through, my body a battlefield under a remembrance sign for all people. Do you remember the times I could have died? But look, I'm still shining. Look, I'm still climbing. Look, I've got dreams and aspirations. And listen, just because someone says one way isn't good or healthy, if it is your path, that's funny. If it is your path, you best not go any other way unless you want to give your dreams to someone else to carry. When we allow someone else to define our existence, we allow them to become our greatest enemy. Look within. See the heart beating, the rhythm speaks of beats. Only we can drop friendships. We can make this world as a treasure map of people helping. No one's a victim here, or stays one at least. It's time to start rising. It's time to start again. Our sweet souls can be fanned into a flame warm enough to warm this whole city. Let it be the breath we breathe. No one else houses our dreams. They're ours for the unveiling. They won't be mirrored until we unwrap and place them in the crook of our arms like our own babies. Everyone in this nation has mommy issues, daddy issues, looking for someone to save them, hold them when the hero is curled around the strings of our own chest, nestled in where safety is not a test, but a deep understanding that trees give canopy whether or not we planted or watered the acorns to leaf. What would we do if we knew we could not fail? If we knew no one else's opinions mattered? What if being who we are is not a fight, but a simple act of breathing, living, taking one more step into the light of the sun emanating from our own chest, the patter of rain under trees in our own breasts? What if the trick to healing is seeing how shadow and light play in the forest and trusting the ground to hold us with each step forward?
Listen, y'all, I don't know about y'all. That was good. I said, let me tell you something. I felt real bad because I bought the book and I haven't read it yet. Now I'm like, man, I got to read this book. This is good. I'm like, man, I'm missing out. So I'm gonna carve me out some time to read this book because that was like a snack, appetizer, and a meal. That was good. But yes, so listen. This has really been rocking, right? This has been a really rocking night. So many, very diverse. I just love diversity. There's so many different flavors. You know, it's like a big old bag of jelly beans. You know, just to get which one you want. Oh, I'm not the only one that feel that way. But you know, just remember, you know, if anybody missed this, because I wouldn't have missed this for the world. This is amazing, right? So remember, to remind somebody that January the 20th, we're going to be doing this again, okay? So just put the word out, you know somebody that want to bring another flavor, you know what I mean? Because you know they keep adding flavors to them jelly beans, right? They just keep adding them. So you know, just tell somebody, come on out, you know, and let's bring another flavor to the bag and the mix. You know, it's an amazing thing on tonight. But we did get all of our sponsors. John, is there anybody else that we need to look at? Listen, before we go, I'm going to do one more to close, okay? And this is the reason why, okay? Because I don't know if anybody know this, right? But, you know, depression is real, you know? And I just want to take a moment to say, listen, y'all, look out for people. I'm talking about people who do look good all the time, and you like, they good, you know? Because we know how to put on a performance. See, I found out I was bipolar last year. I'm 42 years old. I found out I was bipolar at 41 years old. And man, the only reason why I found out is because I was depressed for like 5 months. And the reality of it is that most of my life I've been manic. And one day at 41 years old, it finally caught up, well, probably 4 months, 41 years old, it caught up to me, and I was depressed for so long. I said, this ain't right. Something is absolutely wrong. So I'm talking about, I was life coaching, poet, you know, motivational speaker, life, you know, I had so much stuff, that, you know, a licensed minister, you know, just, you know, and all of a sudden it all hit me that I wasn't being me. I was depressed for so long. So I just want to do this poem. I hope I bring in some awareness because y'all know the holidays come up, and these are some of the dark times where people really experience stuff like this, you know. So I woke up from another restless night of sleep. No, it wasn't that my sleep was interrupted or short. It was simply not at all satisfying or revitalizing. As I woke from this restless, unrevitalizing slumber, I noticed the presence of an unwelcome friend. And I said, friend, with every possible ounce of sarcasm I could muster up, he was sitting, waiting patiently at the foot of my bed. And the question that rings loudest in my head is, who let this guy in? He greets me with a non-greeting, but with ridicule, insults, and reminders of failures, loading me down with regret. It is at that moment that I realized that my restless, unsatisfying, unrevitalizing sleep just turned into a nightmare on D Street. I know it's M Street. But this was no horror movie. It was a waking reality. And as soon as I woke, it begun without warning, out of the blue, with the deepest feeling of disdain. All I could utter in a still, unlit room was, oh no, not you. What you say, babe? Asked my still sleeping spouse. I answer quickly with a whisper, nah, shh, go back to sleep. I'm just talking to myself. My unwelcome friend dare not leaves, but he covers his mouth, chuckles, and flashes me a grin. I take a quick glance at my phone, and it's just about time to get up. Father, Thank you for this new day, I quickly say under breath. And although it's about time to get up, I try my best to ignore my unwelcome guests, so I close my eyes and pray myself to sleep, only to be jolted awake again as this relentless guest whispers in my ear, "That's right. Go to sleep, you weak, sorry, and pathetic excuse of a person." I retort back quickly in my mind that I am successful and full of potential. I quickly search my mind for every affirmation and word of encouragement I have ever heard and read, and I put it on a loop. And I push play as it goes over and over in my head until sleep once again gives me an embrace. See, this is more than a poem. This is a testimony. As soon as sleep embraces becomes warm and welcoming, my personal quiet time of meditation and preparation is over, but I hear in the distance of the night, well, now morning, get up, alarm, get up, alarming me that it's really time to get ready and get moving. I look at my foot, the foot of my bed, and I notice that he's not there. I quickly raise from the sleep with a feeling of drowsiness, with a mask of readiness, and then to make matters worse, the guest that crept in while I was still sleeping under the cover of the night, well, he's still there. I can feel him like mental heaviness. No matter how hard I try to regulate my tone and voice and actions, it is very clear that I am not myself. With greater fervor, I pile on the self-deception that I'm just fine. Every action is forced and hollow. Every thought, and as I go through the motions, unemotionless. And I know that this is cliche, but it's like a dark cloud that formed over my head with a forecast of mental thunderstorms, torrential downpours of misery. So with a papier-mâché smile and a performance Oscar award worthy, I convinced those around me that this boy is all good. Meanwhile, the thunderstorms rage in my mind and misery floods in from every side. No, wait! I yell now that the house is empty. What's going on? Where did this come from? Why do I feel this way? With tear-filled eyes, I search my mind and I can find absolutely no reason for this wave of distorted reality and internal chaos. It is at this moment that fear rushes over me like a tsunami. With much to do and the whole day ahead of me, I turn the page on this ridiculous story to silence the unwelcome bombardment of my mind. I turn to my work and my list of tasks and responsibility. I try to focus. Productivity is key, I remind myself. It is at that moment that my friend, who is up until this point has been hiding in the shadow, decides to speak. He fills my ears with anti-praise, take me into the interrogation room of my mind and pulls my file. Where did he get a movie reel from? I thought to myself. With no hesitation, he pushes plays in high definition and surround sound. Wait, did this thing just go VR? Virtual reality? Nope, this is reality. He broke through the firewall of my mind and hacked my memory with the latest algorithm. He pulled all and every failure, mistake, poor judgment, misdeed, and ugly thing I ever said, thought, and done, and put it on full blast. No matter how hard I tried, it seemed impossible. Oh, sorry, guys. My phone just acted up. Hold on. Every movement feels weighted, and every task is more difficult. Mind misfunctions, synapses misfires, and time taunts me and speeds up as it says, na, you can't catch me. My normal disposition has just shifted, and my new default is frustration. My normal activities of escape are empty, and and full and lacking in pleasure. And silence, well, silence is louder than noise itself. So I tried to forge forward in my work and list of things to do with greater intensity, running on fumes, sputtering along. The frustration grows, turning into a crushing feeling of sadness and weariness. Every attempt to trudge forward feels like I'm sinking in quicksand. All of my work is unwelcoming. My guest that came in under the dark night and sat at the foot of my bed, he introduced me to depression. Now, that poem is really like a bunch of days that I had over a long period of time. I just pushed them all into one day, so it's kind of exaggerated, but I think you can get the point of what it might be in the head of somebody that has depression. And this is something that we need to really begin to look at our friends and family, and I just wanted to bring some awareness to that on tonight. So thank you, John. Let's give John a hand. He put it all together. And his wife back there with the video and everything. Thank you guys for this opportunity just to share. Man, y'all guys were great tonight.